Over 140,000 people follow his work. Not because he edits like everyone else, but because he does it on nothing more than a phone. Sam John has turned CapCut into a canvas and a brand that proves limits are only excuses. In this conversation, you'll see the discipline that drives him, the creativity that defines him, and the honesty that keeps it real. This is Sam John Creates.
Hello, Sam. Welcome to the Otherwise podcast. You've built a really distinct online presence. If someone's never seen your content and they asked, what's it about? How would you explain it to them?
I'd say I teach how I make videos in CapCut Mobile, basically
Yeah.
showing people that the tools don't matter, that you can do anything literally on a bummy little iPhone SE if you want to, and make something that can leave impact, that express something that you really want to with whatever tools that you have available, whether that is on a laptop or on an iPhone or whatever. And just, I think, sharing your distinct message and your unique gift as a creator, and showing that you can express that with any tools available. So I'm trying to bridge the gap between idea and execution, I'd say. Being able to teach the stuff I do in CapCut Mobile and trying more nowadays to branch out from just here's how to do this effect in CapCut Mobile, but trying to be more of me, I think, and telling more stories and inspiring people creatively. That's my mission, and that's the kind of videos I make.
No, I think that sums it up perfectly. So when you first started creating, did you imagine it would become what it is now? Or did it begin as a smaller idea? Or like did you think that your account could become as big as it is now, with as big as an audience?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I had no clue any of this would come about when I started. So to give you some context, I started 16 years old. It was like me, two other friends went to the gym. We're like, shit, why don't we just start a fitness account? The videos are so bad, like I don't even want to go and look back at them. But like just gym videos, just like captions with some text and some B-roll, whatever. And from there, I think I just became very invested in making the videos. I think I'd always been kind of a creative person, but just forgot how to express that, I think, in my later teenage years, just being quite shy and socially anxious. I think I lost that creative expression. And my friends weren't like, they quickly just weren't as involved in it. But I decided, let's just keep this thing going. Let's keep making videos. And from there, it went from just like gym videos to self-improvement videos. I started talking in them. I started scripting them. I started having this plan like, okay, we're gonna have this many followers by this time, then this is gonna happen. And it became this whole like almost like a business that I romanticized and was like, I really want to make this work. I think, I don't know if you get in the same kind of space, but just watching a lot of self-improvement videos, a lot of entrepreneurship videos, yeah, it very much it quickly becomes an obsession and something that you fall in love with, to be honest. And that's what happened with me, for sure. And then one thing leads to another. Like, there were definitely points where it's like, I had like 300 followers. I've been posting for a year. I'd seen no success. Had like pretty much no reason to keep going. But there was just something that made me just fuck it. I will. Maybe this is gonna work out.
Yeah.
There's no promise of glory. It's like that Chris Williamson quote. It's like he's talking about the Rocky cutscene. And
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
in the movie, that's like 3.5 minutes. For me, it's been a whole fucking year at this point. I haven't seen anything.
Right.
And I just kept going, to be honest. And it kept on like evolving, and the videos I made kept on changing. And I think I saw just enough success at each point in the timeline to think, okay, we'll keep this going. Maybe this can work. And this almost like naive optimism that it was going to work.
Naive optimism,
yeah, definitely that's what you need. And about 5-6 months ago is when everything started to happen. So I pivoted niche from just making videos about self-improvement to talking about how I make videos, because in making videos in the past 2-3 years, I mean, that's the thing I really fell in love with. It wasn't. It started off as, oh, I want to be rich, I want to be famous, but I think
Right.
it gradually became, I love making stuff, and that's something I realized myself,
Mm-hmm.
and like I wanted to teach that to people. I wanted to share what I'd learned because that's what
Yeah.
felt like effortless to me, is what I wanted to make videos about. I think it's important as well as a creator to evolve, and your audience either evolves with you or they don't, and I think that's okay either way. It's like when I
Mm-hmm.
made that transition to go from like these motivational self-improvement videos to talking about making videos, I was talking to my other creator friends, and I was so scared to make that change because I had at that point I think 10,000 followers, and I was like, well, what if they don't like it? What if this isn't the right thing? It's not like this isn't why they followed me. And like, Matt,
Yeah.
just do it. You edit on your phone. You have this amazing gift. Like, teach people how to do that. And
Right.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of reluctantly, I thought, okay, yeah, I'll do this. And then that's just when everything happened after that, to the point now where I think I'm at like 140K, just
Yeah.
because I took that risk, I guess, to pivot niches. So it's definitely been a journey, from where I
Yeah.
started to where I am. But yeah.
Sorry to interrupt the podcast. I would just like to say that there was a technical difficulty which stopped us from having super crisp audio like it was going to be. I was going to use this mic. Turns out I can't use this mic for podcasts, so I'm going to have to figure out a solution. He has nice and crisp audio, which only really matters. But if you're struggling to hear me talk because of my low quality audio, then I just want to apologize. Again, hopefully I figured this out for the next episode, but just know that the audio was supposed to sound as good as it does now. There was a technical difficulty, and I'm trying to figure out how to make it sound good for the next episode. Now, enjoy the podcast.
Looking at where you are now, does it feel like you've moved past the lonely chapter of creating? Or does it still feel like you're in it? Because you have made some videos on the lonely chapter, right? What is your stance on that? Of where you
Yeah,
are?
I love that question. Yeah. For me, I think I'm past it now. I
Yeah.
definitely had a point where I couldn't give you specific dates and everything, but just after leaving school, like high school equivalent in the UK, decided I'm not going to go to university. I'm going to do content creation full time, or editing or whatever it was, because I had no idea back then. Like everything was so uncertain,
Mm,
and there was no one really around me to support me. Of course, my parents have been super supportive. I have good
yeah.
friends, but there were in the sense that nobody got it, in the same way that it worked in my head. Like the
Hmm.
way I understood social media and the way I understood creativity and just the way my mind worked, I think I'd say I hadn't found a group of people that resonated with me in that same way. So there was a few months there where, I mean, it was really, really lonely in that sense, but also in the sense loads of my friends had just gone to university. I'd stayed at home, only child, so it's like I'm at home just working in my
Oh,
room
only
all day.
child. Yeah, yeah.
You know, so it kind of got to me a little bit. And then eventually, I there was just this one creator called Seth Lloyd.
Oh,
You
yeah.
might know him. I don't know. Yeah,
I
yeah.
do. I follow him.
He
Yeah, yeah.
makes really cool videos. Yeah. And like it was like August last year, September. I just
Yeah.
replied to a story of his, and then from there we just started chatting, just sending voice messages back and forth. And he was like, "Hey, we both live fairly close to London. Do you want to meet up with a few other creators?" And before we'd done a few like calls, like mastermind style calls with other creators, it was all like fairly low key. Like the biggest creator at the time had like 30K. I was on 10K, so it was quite like a small community. But I think that made it
Yeah.
better in the sense that we just got to know each other, got to know what we were building, and it finally felt like, oh shit, I have these other people that are similar to me, doing the same thing, and they understand what I'm doing. And from
Hmm.
there, we started doing these meetups in London, just in central London. We'd go out and film, to start with, it'd be like four or five of us. We'd just be like I started off just filming on my iPhone SE, just getting little clips here and there, and then bringing our cameras, and then planning out videos, do a few collab posts. And I think from that, we built like almost this little community. And the videos we made were sort of inspiring other people to the message we had was find others. Also another Chris Williamson quote. Find others, admit it, you're not like the rest of them. You're not even close. And then he has this whole thing about that. But it was like these were finding the others, and this was us going out and doing that. And I think that was what really brought me out the other side of that lonely chapter, was finding these other creatives. And then from that, like one thing led to another. It went from just like 4 or 5 of us making a few silly little videos to then hosting like in real life networking events with talks and everything. And like getting all these creators. Like we had a creator with like 130K, which at the time was a big deal because like I wasn't that big back then. And it was really cool to just have all these people with doing completely different things, but all united through their passion for creating. I think it's definitely true that creators need creators to inspire them, to remind them of who they are, remind them of their mission, remind them why they started. And even seeing people at higher levels and lower levels than you, they either inspire you or remind you of that drive that you had when you first started. I think there was something to gain from talking to everyone at those events. So I'm really glad we started doing them, and we've got another one planned in September, and the aim is to get 100 people to come to Central London. So that should be good. Where we really bonded as a group, I'd say, was when this is with Seth as well, and the other creators who I hang out with most. It was like really last minute. Really nice guy called George, who's he works with Simon Squibb. Do you know him? The guy who goes, "What's your dream?" You might not, but he's
No, I don't know him.
okay. But so he just messaged us and was like, "Yo, do you want to come stay in a villa for a week, completely free accommodation, everything?" I was like, "Yeah, might as well." So that was in Marbella, and that was really cool. Like all different kinds of creators, entrepreneurs, and it was like second day in, it felt like we've been friends for years. Like we just all click so well. I think that's just because we're all just so similar people. I think that's the cool thing about social media is if you just make videos authentically in the way you are, if you're just authentic, then you're naturally going to attract the right people that resonate with you. So it was really cool to just see us all click straight away. Just like just the boys in a villa. It was really sick, to be fair. And like there was a guy there who, okay, his business in Canadian dollars, 100K per month. Okay, he was doing 100K per month. 18 years old was the crazy thing.
That's crazy.
That just blew me away. It was like seeing what was possible in a sense as well, as much as a connection and building a community, but seeing so many opportunities and just the way these guys would talk about business and money as well in the sense. It was just like, oh shit, money is everywhere. Like once you know what you're doing and like I can't even describe it, just the way these guys would operate. That really inspired me, and I think I came back from that trip to Marbella. I came back with a lot of drive and a lot of built up momentum from the week itself that carried me forward to just do all the things I've been procrastinating on that I needed to do, that I knew would just be that literally I knew what the inputs were and they would lead to the outputs I needed, but I just decided to procrastinate because I just didn't have that drive. And then seeing these people and connecting with them was really the spark, I think, that put that all in motion.
If you had to start from scratch from tomorrow, what's one thing you'd repeat exactly the same and one thing you'd do differently or never do again?
One thing I'd repeat exactly the same is if I had none of the knowledge I have now and I've just started from scratch, is making as much as possible at the start, trying as many different styles and just learning everything and experimenting and being excited about doing that. Like say I'm scrolling and I see an effect that looks so cool and like I'm just so inspired, like I want to be able to do that, then I'm gonna go straight away from my phone, well, still on my phone, go to CapCut and just try and recreate that as best I can, and then
Yeah.
build a video around that. So I'd say the thing I'd do the same is as much volume as possible in as many different styles as possible, not just doing the same thing every single time, with the aim of doing something different, trying to get better, and just like at the start, kind of trying different styles. When you become at a higher level as a creator, it's important to develop your own style so people recognize you, and
Mhm.
you have your own signature style. But when you're first starting out, like you can look at my page and I've done this where it's like you can see that video is in the style of RPN, this one's like Trey Gustafsson, this one's like whoever. And it's like this is almost a thing I regret as well. It's really hard to say on this because it didn't feel like that was authentically me. But if I never did that and I never learnt how to edit in this style and this style and like this, then I'd be very confined in what I can do right
Right.
now.
Yeah.
So I guess that works in both. But I'll think of another regret that I've had. I might just need 1 second on that. Yeah, a regret I've had is having the wrong mindset when I was creating at the start. I think you need to very much be thinking about the viewer at all points in the process and thinking about value. And you're either providing value through entertainment, through education, or through inspiration. And I think I wasn't doing that. I was making videos that, to be fair, videos that I liked, but it was videos that I liked editing. And it was like, there's very much a difference between a video being fun to edit and a video being fun to watch. An example of this is I used to edit for Mino Lee, and he was doing like a Europe trip, and he needed a day in the life vlog short form. It would be like 30, 45 seconds. And I think I thought I killed it when I sent him the first draft, and because it was trying to create this like fun, dynamic sort of atmosphere to the video, very fast paced. The music matched it very well, and he replied to that and was like, the pacing is off. Everything is way too fast. This feels like a montage rather than a story. And I
Yeah.
was like, what? And I was actually kind of like, why has he said that? I thought it was actually so good because it was so fun to edit. But then you have to think about the viewer and think, okay, can they actually read that piece of text that's been on the screen for 0.2 seconds that says 9 a.m. coffee shop or at 9:30 whatever? You've got to make it so easy for a viewer to understand. And
Yeah.
that almost means taming it back a little bit with the editing itself. So it's finding a balance between fun to edit and fun to watch. Because as an artist, you should be enjoying the process and enjoying what you make, but you
Mhm.
also have to optimize for an algorithm and viewers and all this bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's two sides to that. But make a video and always have the viewer top of mind when making a video, and knowing that the value you're providing is as easy to understand as possible for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That makes total sense. Was there ever a time where you went all in an idea and it didn't work out in the way that you pictured? But it wasn't necessarily bad, but it just didn't work out in the way you pictured. Was there ever a moment where that happened to you?
All the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally all the time. Literally last week actually, this is an example. I wanted to make a video about running. Like I'd done a little run.
Oh
I
yeah.
hadn't run since like December of last year. And I thought I didn't know how far I was gonna run. I ended up doing 12K. And I was like, this was really hard. I want to make a video about it. I think there's a story here. And I had clips recorded of during the run, and I was planning out the shots in my head while I was running. I was literally talking to the camera as I was running, giving notes to myself when I was editing. And I was like, okay, I need to get some more shots of me that aren't just like POV or like looking at camera shots. I need to go out and film some stuff. So I went out with my friend. and he filmed for me, and I got home, and the footage was just not at all how I imagined it. Like the lighting looked off. I didn't have the right shots that I needed. I forgot some really important ones. I was trying to remove the background of myself, and because like the trees behind me were so dark, and I was wearing black, my clothes were blending into the trees behind me. I couldn't remove the background. I couldn't do the effect I wanted, and I actually I kind of get angry with myself and also just in general when like an idea I have doesn't work, and I think
For
it's
sure.
very easy to spiral when you have that, and then you sort of lose the flow that you originally had when one thing doesn't go exactly how you want. And I think that happened with me, and that's something I still need to work on, is then not just abandoning an idea or just half-assing it because it wasn't going to be perfect anyway now because I haven't got that. But that's something I'm still working on. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I actually I have some questions about that actually later on. But anyway, do you believe growth is something that you can map out with a plan, or does it come more from putting yourself in the right situations to let it happen?
I
I don't
don't
know
think
if
you
that
can
makes
fully
sense.
map it out
Yeah.
from the start. I don't think you could, from a fresh account, could say, okay, this is going to work like that and like that and like that. I think you definitely need to have enough feedback, audience feedback of what works before just going and saying and guaranteeing that this style is going to work because of whatever reason. I think you have to listen to the market, and the market being, the viewers.
Yeah.
And once you find something that does work, then you can double down on that. But it's like a game of volume, and then you create your plan once you know what can guarantee you success. So to give you an example for me, I definitely felt very uncertain like last year making content, and I didn't have that long-term plan because I didn't know what it was that was going to get me there yet. And then I started making those tutorial videos. There was one video, the first one I did in the style of like, here's how to do this effect in CapCut Mobile, let's go. And it was a glowing effect, like a glowing figure. And I think that's like 1 million views now, so that did pretty well. And that was the first sign of real success in a video. And I was like, oh shit, this is the thing. This is what I need to double down on right now. And from there, that's when the plan started to develop. Okay, I'm going to do this style. And then it's like, I couldn't tell you exactly what the plan was, but I knew from there that this is the work that needed to happen. And it's like, once you can identify the inputs that you need for the outputs that you want, it's just a case of doing the work at that point. And there's I guess there is a lot of comfort in that. And because there's certainty, it's when you're in that early stage of content creation where the videos might be good, but it's like the algorithm just hasn't picked up on it yet. You haven't had that video that's blown up to give you almost the certainty that something is happening, some kind of promise of success at the end of the tunnel. And until you get that, it's very hard to develop that overarching plan of what's going on. So I'd say just volume, find what works, and then build around that.
At what point did you realize this is my editing style? This is me. Was it one project, or was it something that like evolved over time?
I think it's something that evolves continually, and my editing style in 6 months will be different from how it is now, and not just in the fonts that I use or the little things like that, but just more in like the pacing or the flow of the video, the music I use, the emotions that I invoke when someone watches a video. And I think that just comes from whatever stage in life that you're in. And the best artists have a way of being able to express anything that's happening in their life or in their head and bring it to life with no technical gap whatsoever. And if you can do that as an artist and basically transmute your own surroundings and your own life into your art, then I think it's almost a prerequisite that your style will continue to evolve. But for myself, first developing a style, I think it came probably about a year, I'd say a year and a half into making videos
Mhm.
when I first thought, okay, this is Sam John Creates. This I wasn't even called that back then, but this is like Sam John style. Um, and that came from experimenting a lot, learning and pulling from different creators. And then once you've learned all of those technical aspects, once you have that technical intuition for the tools, like if
Mhm.
I said, how do you remove a background? Bang, 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 done, like that. Once there's no technical gap and you've
Yeah.
mastered the tools themselves, it then becomes a case of the creative restrictions. So then it's like to develop a style from knowing all the tools is this is gonna sound kind of stupid, but like being in touch with yourself and like
Yeah. No, I
I think
understand.
that comes through, yeah, it comes through the way you view life. But something that
Mhm.
really that's helped me, is journaling. So I think the greatest skill, or one of the greatest skills as a creator, is being in tune with your own thoughts, your own emotions, everything that's going on in your head, and being able to transmute that. And journaling allows you to have this really, really good articulation of your own thoughts. So it's like I'd like to say, and I'm quite proud of the fact that I know so much more about myself than the average person my age does, just because
Mhm.
every single night I write down my goals, I write down how I'm feeling, I reflect on how I've improved, I look at what I should have done differently, and I know a lot about myself, and that's come through the journaling. And I think that's helped me to create my style because I'm in tune with my emotions, I guess. So the
Mhm.
first style I had was like, I don't know if you were following me back then, but I do these sort of, I guess, anime style edits, but not just like I hate anime edits to be honest, but it was like this
Mm.
surreal editing style with tons of overlays. It was super fast,
Oh
and the
yeah.
first video got like about 500,000 views, and I
Mhm.
decided I'll do more of that. I'll lean into that style, and I think people really like that. And then that kind of got old. People got tired of it, and I had to move on to the next thing. And then there was like a bit of a gap between finding that next thing that was going to hit. And in all
Mhm.
that time, like my style was evolving. I got better at talking to camera. Um, my mannerisms changed. I think everything just changes with time. So I think you'll also, as a creator, to any creators watching this, you'll have a lot of doubts about your videos and your own creative style. It's like someone commented and said, I love your editing style a few years ago, a couple years ago. And I was like, wow, that was like the best compliment I could get. This guy thinks I have an editing style. He thinks this is like a video that I would make. And
Yeah.
that made me feel really proud, to be honest.
Hmm.
Um, it takes time to find a style. It takes time.
Oh yeah, for sure. When you watch beginners edit, what's the mistake you notice over and over again that holds them back? And how do you teach people to go past that?
Music. I'd say music.
Music.
Everyone's
Okay.
doing the same thing. It's like, what are all the songs I use? Like Death of a Bluebird, or that one Tyler the Creator song everyone uses, or
Oh yeah.
like there's no originality, and people could be doing so much more with their music choices because everyone has their own taste, and I think it's just a real shame if you don't lean into that. Like I really try to use songs that I like, and I think really work with a video with not just the
Mhm.
pacing, but also feeling and the emotion that I want. Like I'm heavily inspired by all the soundtracks used in Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know if you watched those films.
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, I love all the soundtracks in that. And I try and create visuals that have that surreal, like in space style with big text, and then there'll be like
Hmm.
a beat drop on it or something. And that's like part of my style now, I think. And
Yeah, for sure it is. Yeah.
there's a lot you can do. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with the music that people just aren't doing. It's like I see a creator using the same song as 20 other creators, and immediately in my head, they've just become, I guess, a commodity in a sense. Like they've just ripped themselves of a little bit more of the originality that they could have had. And like once you can learn how to manipulate the pacing with the music, if you say muffle the audio on a certain part, or you just straight up cut it and just have silence for like 3 seconds, leave the silence, build impact through that, and then you cut back in with a riser, and you turn up the volume and cut it on the beat or something, and then you have like a really cool cut that you've made visually on that beat drop. Like that leaves so much more impact than just doing the same thing as everyone else. And another thing about music is everyone will just use a song chronologically. It's like they won't, even if they even make a cut, they'll come back in straight at the same point in the song. Where like you got to think, the song isn't always going to match the entire message of your video chronologically. It's like sometimes you want to use one bit here, and then you're going to come to an earlier bit in the song and put that in because it's quieter and it matches the tone because you're speaking like this, and then it comes back in louder later because the video is more up-paced, more like upbeat, and then you come back in with that. Like, I just think music is something that people aren't utilizing in the right way right now. Absolutely. One thing I'll add as well is if you're talking in a video, like, I can't believe people would do the music after this. Like, you're even when you're speaking in the cadence of the song. So it's an example of this. I used it was just sort of like a piano instrumental on one of my videos, but to me, it just felt like a wave. Like the music was so up and down. Like this was the cadence. It was like that, and I was like, I have to lean into this when I'm recording the voiceover for this. So the line was, as creators, we obsess on numbers. And I could have said it just like that, but it was more like, as creators, we obsess on numbers.
Numbers,
that's
yeah.
Right,
that makes
if I just
sense,
went, as creators, we obsess on numbers, like, there's no impact on that. But when you can it's matching the voiceover to the music, to the cuts, to everything, and it all comes together, and then you create that nice flow in the video. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to add.
So if you could only pass down one editing principle for the rest of your life, what would you choose? And why does that one matter more than others?
Edit with emotion.
Yeah.
And by that means the pacing, that means the music. It's not about the effects, is what I'm saying. It's not about he's done a remove background and he's put text behind him or whatever. It's about creating an impact, and that's a very like umbrella sort of thing here. But basically, some of the best videos don't need hyper edited visuals and everything. It's just about making cuts in the right places that visually tell a story that leaves the audience so immersed that they don't even realize that there is editing, if that makes sense. So I'd say learn to edit in a way that it doesn't even feel like it's edited to the audience, because they're just immersed in something. Like if you're watching a film, you're not thinking about like, oh, the CGI on that was really good, or that bit of text there, the typography wasn't, like, you're not thinking about that because you're so immersed in it. To be fair, I do that just because I'm weird and I'm a filmmaker now.
Me too.
So I will be watching the film. But to the average person, they'll be immersed in the experience. And it's the exact same thing in short form. Like, immerse them in that and make it so subtle that they don't break the fourth wall and they don't come out of that experience, because you're giving them an experience and you want that to be as fun for them as possible to enjoy. So I appreciate that isn't the most like technical, like one editing thing, but like that is the thing you need to do.
You said creativity is about surrender, not control. Can you share a time when letting go of your plan led to something better than you imagined?
Yeah. So I always have somewhat of an idea of a plan when I go into a video, but with some, it's like editing to me feels so fun and just feels like play. That
Mhm.
sometimes you just have to like create like a kid and just like go wild with it and just make whatever you want to make. And I do that quite a bit, to be honest. Like the style where the borders come down, and then it comes in with the big flashy like text and everything.
Yeah.
None of those visuals are planned. That's just me having a lot of B-roll and a lot of stuff to work with and thinking, wouldn't this be cool if I made myself invisible, or if I went in a
Mhm.
circle, like running a circle in this visual, or just
Oh
like these
yeah.
crazy ideas, like my best ever video, which took me an hour to make, and it's at 10 million views, an hour in CapCut Mobile. There's this visual where it's David Goggins, and he says the words. Oh God, what word does he say now? Oh God, this is poor from me. But it's really big on screen,
Yeah.
and I've manipulated the audio so it's this deep sort of humming sound of him, and none of that was
Mm.
planned. That was like, hey, let's just experiment with changing the audio effects on this and see what we can make. And then the visual itself was like, why don't we do this like silhouette effect of him running? And like none of that is planned. Like so many of my visuals, like I'll shortlist a few things if I know they're important for the story, but anything
Mhm.
else is like when I'm editing, I don't like to over edit in the shot list, if you know what I mean. I don't want to plan too much because I know when I'm sitting on my desk or even laying on my bed sometimes, because I can edit wherever using a phone, I know I'll have so many more ideas then when like I can see everything, I can see the structure, I can hear the music, and that's usually when a lot of ideas will come. So I think, yeah, I think a lot of what I do does come from that unplanned, childlike state of creation and play. It's like
Yeah.
the Tyler Creator quote I made a video about: create like a child
I remember that.
and
Yeah, yeah,
edit.
for sure.
Yeah. So that's the create like a child. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like some of my best work is the ones where I had a thought and I just like clicked record and did it and I didn't really think about it, right? And it's like it ends up being my best work and I'm like, wow, like and when I really try to make the best thing, a lot of the time it doesn't end up being the best thing because I just tried too hard. I mean, it's not saying don't try, but it's I don't know, like a lot of the best moments are unplanned.
Hmm. I have
Okay,
one
now we're
thing as
gonna
well,
yeah,
if that's all right.
that's
You
all.
said about when you just click record and then you just go straight into it. I absolutely resonate with that. Where I find when the gap between idea and execution, the longer that becomes,
Hmm.
the the worse the video is, basically in my eyes. Like I'll script a video, and usually like 95% of the time, from scripting, I will then record, edit, and post in the exact same day. I
Hmm.
find like going too long from having that idea to executing on it, it dilutes the idea itself. You forget what you originally intended. And sometimes that works in your favor. You know, every day is going to be different for your ideas, but
Hmm.
it will definitely dilute your vision. And I really like being able to just go straight from this to this to this to this, and then having it done with no distractions, no breaks in the process. Like I don't like to schedule things at all. I don't have any content schedule. It's like I want to make something. I trust that when tomorrow comes, I'll have an idea for another video, and then I'll post that video. And if I don't, then that's fine. We'll go 2 days with no video, and I'm sure on that other day I'll have two ideas instead. Like today, I've posted a video, and half an hour before hopping on this, I've filmed
Hmm.
another one, almost edited it, and that'll be posted in half an hour. And it's like I just had the idea, I wanted to act on it, so let's fucking do it. But yeah, that's just all I wanted to add on that.
You've talked about training to failure in the gym. How is that mindset of pushing limits showing up in your creative work, if it has at all?
Mm, yeah, I think I very much admire Tom Platz, bodybuilder. He's probably my favorite bodybuilder that I look up to. He's got me a lot of views as well, so I'm grateful for him on that one. He's got some good quotes, to be fair. But he talks a lot about training to failure, which is probably the best way to grow in the gym. But he then goes on to say, that applies to everything. His quote is like, you have to achieve failure. You have to take it that far. And no one wants to take it that far. It's too scary. But let me tell you something. That's where winning is. It always has been. And I just always love that quote. And the idea of seeing failure as well, not failure. It's for one, it's redirection in telling you, okay, this didn't work. We'll try this instead. But really just giving you feedback more than anything. And then the other part of that, in the sense of just pushing towards that failure, I just love the idea of giving everything to your craft and like losing yourself in your craft, whether that's the gym or filmmaking or CapCut mobile tutorials, whatever it is. I think there's a lot of there's a beauty in losing yourself in the process a little bit. And I'm trying to balance that and see where I lie on that. I'm oftentimes not as disciplined as I'd wish to be, and that's something that I'm working on getting better at, not just being more disciplined, but also learning leniency and balancing that in a way that doesn't make me hate my life, but also allows me to achieve my goals. But that's something I'm working on still. But I very much appreciate failure in every domain of life. I think that's very important.
Yeah, there's a belief I have. It's those who fear failure also fear winning, because failing is a key point of winning. So if you fear failure, you're fearing winning. You can't be successful without first failing. You could fail without winning, of course, but you can't win without failing. So anyone that wants to be successful in any area has to accept the fact that they are going to fail in that same area. You ran a marathon distance, I would say, right? Or a 12K, right? What was the toughest mental wall that hit you when you were doing that run? And how did you push through it? How does that strategy apply to your work? Or does it apply to your work, right? And yeah, just wondering.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, it was definitely very hard considering I hadn't run in 6 months. The mental wall itself was, I can't really pinpoint one point and say, then I suddenly snapped and I was like, yeah, let's fucking do this. It was just like the whole time, but I just thought I can put my foot forward one more time and then I'll do that again. I think that's something I apply to life as well. Of just we can do a little bit more, so why not fucking do it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's quite hard for me to analyze my own techniques for dealing with that. Actually, it's not something I've really thought about too much. No, so I don't think I can give a really good answer on that.
So, do you see physical endurance and creative endurance as two separate muscles? Like, of course, physically they are, but like mentally, do you see them as the same or different or showing up in different ways? What's an example that proves that to you?
Yeah, I'd say there's a lot of similarities. I've said before that I see creativity like a muscle that you have to train. And if you're working out in the gym, you're progressively overloading. You're starting off with just the bar, then you're working your way up. Everyone uses that metaphor, but it's the same with creativity, and you need consistency and you need momentum in order to get to a point where you can be endlessly creative and have all these ideas and also have the drive to execute on them. Like, I think there's the technical barrier, there's the creative barrier, and once both of those have been broken through, you have ideas and you also have the tools to do it and the knowledge of the tools. I've now realized there is one more barrier, which is literally just grit or willpower, or the desire to just keep on pushing, even though you're kind of tired and you don't really want to make a video, but you just do it, to be honest. So I think as well, when I take a few too many days away from being creative and making a video, coming back to it, I definitely don't feel as experienced as an editor and a creator, and I feel a lot less capable. Like, even though I'm the exact same person I was like 3, 4, 5 days ago, but because I've lost that momentum of a natural flow of ideas, I find it very hard to make something to the same level or of a better level
Yeah.
as when I had that continuous process of creativity.
In 5 years from now, if you look back and feel like you've made it, what would that actually look like for your life? And not just numbers, but day-to-day life.
Day-to-day life, it looks like, in the very broad, it looks like I'm getting paid for my ideas. I'm getting paid to make videos and make things that I love making.
Yeah.
And that's just the most important thing, to be honest, for me, is being a creative still, not treating this too much like a business, more as just a creative person who gets paid pretty well for the quality of their ideas. But of course, I'd like to also continue to grow my business as, doing these brand deals, but also teaching people how to be creative and helping people and leaving impact through that. So that's the very broad, but day to day, I wouldn't mind living in London. I wouldn't mind that. I haven't thought about too much the specifics, but I like to travel a little bit, but I find I like somewhere to call home more than anything. So quite a chill life, very laid back, um, almost like a bit of a juxtaposition in the sense that I hope to have well over 1 million followers, but I'd like to still live quite a low key life, I'd say.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that for sure. Is there a skill or habit that you're building right now that your audience would probably never guess?
Let me have a think. I'm learning a bit more guitar, to be fair. I'll say that.
Guitar. Do you sing?
Yeah. No.
No.
Cannot. No.
No, you can't
My
sing.
dad
Okay.
can. My dad has loads of guitars in his house, so he's very musically inclined. So
Okay.
I learned a little bit of guitar when I was younger with him. So it's like I know the basics, but that's something I'd like to continue working on. Yeah.
Whatever it is, if it's creative, it'll help in any area of creativity, I think. It's like a muscle that you have to work out, like you were saying earlier. Now for the closer question of the podcast. We're really not as long as I thought we'd go, but it's all good, doesn't matter. Looking at everything you've learned through your work, what's the biggest lesson that's carried into your life outside of work? Or not work, but your creative stuff, right? You said you don't like looking at it as a job.
I'm just gonna take a minute to think on that one.
Oh yeah.
I think I'd say going into everything, knowing that you know nothing and being okay with that and being confident of the fact that you don't know anything yet and being not only excited to improve, but knowing that improvement is coming. So with editing, it's like at the start, absolute beginner, absolute novice, and everything that I learn, I have to approach from a place of unknowing, and every effect, every new thing I learn, it's just a case of experimenting. Like doing it yourself, I find just looking at tutorials is not the way I've learned at all in creation and in editing. It's through hands-on experience of learning how to do effects by actually doing them. Actually just do the thing, and then fail at the thing, back to failure. Think, why the hell has this not worked? and then going from there and then researching and doing the research once you've actually tried. I think is the way that just in life you learn anything, is from direct experience, going until you find a problem and then solving that problem as you go, rather than learning a load of bullshit that you don't actually need and then trying to approach a task. I find hands-on experience is the way that I've edited my whole journey. And then sure, if there's something I don't know or something I specifically need, I'll go and find a tutorial. And I think that just carries over to everything in life. Like, direct experience is king. And when you encounter problems, figure it out as you go, to be honest. I think having a purpose and navigating life from that purpose and making decisions through that lens as you're working towards something is a much better way of trying to learn anything. When you have a goal and you're trying to achieve that goal, and you'll fail along the way, and you'll learn and you'll enjoy the learning, and the learning will leave impact because that learning had purpose behind it. So that's something that I do completely in editing that I'd say carries over to everything in life. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Sam. Again, this is the Otherwise podcast. Okay, that's the end of the podcast.